Appreciate it. And I see some of the team members, Maria and Kate, and a few other people from the team. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to our virtual office here, Century 21 Masters. So we got agents from all over the place. All right, Linda, it's your show. I'm going to shut up now and let you take over.
Sounds good. Before we get started, I actually just want to respond to something you just mentioned. If after the demo and after this training, anybody has any questions or any feedback, we would absolutely love to hear from you. I am putting our email address in the chat, hello@symbium.com. So if you have questions, Robert's not the person to answer them, we can. Feel free to email us. But first, I am actually going to hand the mic over to my colleague, Kate Didich, to introduce Symbium, and then she'll hand it back to me to give the training. So Kate, why don't you take it away?
Thanks, Linda. And I will try to be very quick because I know the real exciting part of our talk today is Linda giving the demo. But before she delves into it, I just want to give some brief intro remarks. First, it's really great to be here. Thanks for inviting us to your meeting. We're always super excited to connect with and talk to realtors. I myself recently bought a home. Last year at this time, I was deep in the home buying search process. So I've learned a bit about it from that side. But let me tell you a little bit about Symbium. We were launched a few years ago out of Stanford University with a laser focused mission to streamline the regulatory aspects of residential construction, starting with ADUs. And we work, as I said, with a lot of real estate agents who've done a lot of these demos, and we are very aware that there are three top priorities for agents. One, trying to get that listing, which requires communicating how you're going to present the property in the best possible light, and of course, get the highest price for it. After you get a listing, then of course, number two, selling a property, which of course includes means providing as much information as possible in order to help the buyer make a decision. And then third, representing buyers and helping them evaluate the ROI. For instance, of adding an additional unit or two of their property, which helps increase the value of their property. I know when I was searching for a home, one of the things I did was determine the feasibility of adding a second unit on my property. And I used the tool that we're going to show you today in order to do that. So Symbium.com, which is available for free for anyone to use at Symbium.com, and we'll include that link in the chat, helps agents achieve all of those three priorities. So as Robert mentioned, you can use Symbium.com, importantly, to determine the permit history. Another thing that I looked at in order to determine on the properties I was looking at, how much was permitted, how much was unpermitted. When the work was done, also very important to me. Understand parcel level data about that property as well. And importantly, is an ADU allowed on that property? Figure out where an ADU might fit on that property, and potential even designs that could work on that property. And then also help buyers understand the next step to getting an ADU built. What is the process? What are the potential costs? So with that, let me stop talking about it and let me pass it over to Linda so she can show you what I'm talking about. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, or there'll be time to ask questions after Linda is done.
All right, thank you, Kate. So I just shared my screen here. I hope everyone can see it. And what you're looking at is the Symbium.com landing page. And all you need to do to get started is enter an address. And I will stress, as I'm writing my address here, that as Kate mentioned, this tool is free to use. You can use it yourself or have your clients come on to Symbium.com and have them use it. You'll see that the first thing that happens after I enter an address.
Linda?
Yes.
We're having trouble here. Is anyone else having trouble hearing? I am. No? Nobody else? Okay, never mind.
It's hard.
All right, I will try and speak up and speak closer to my microphone. Is this a little better, Cindy? All right. So After you type in an address onto the Symbium.com landing page, it takes you over to the specific parcel for that address that you entered. And you'll see that there is the outline of the parcel boundary and the buildings on the site. You can toggle over on, if you see my mouse over on the lower right-hand corner, to satellite view to make sure that the building outlines are in line with the structures that are on the property, and that there isn't anything in the way. When you do your ADU feasibility analysis, like a swimming pool or trees that you might need to consider, the satellite view will help you, kind of do that kind of very quick overview of the property. On the left-hand side, you'll see that there are two panels. The top panel has data about the property, and the bottom panel has projects. We'll get into that in just a minute. But the type of data that we have on Symbium.com is all sourced from official government sources. This includes things like the assessed value, the property details, which include like the bedroom count, bathroom count, things like that, the building square footage. So you'll see that as I hover over the building square footage, the map on the right side will highlight which building that square footage pertains to. There are forms that are the most common permit type of forms for the different cities for which you enter an address. We've got environmental hazard information. So whether the property's on in a flood zone or a liquefaction zone, that those kinds of things impact the ability to develop a property. There is information about the zoning and general plan and proximity to transit. One of the other really great features that we have here on Symbium.com is the building permit history. This is one of the things that we heard from many, many people that is a really difficult thing to obtain because you've got to go to the different jurisdictions. Everyone's websites are a little different. The time that it takes for a jurisdiction to actually pull the permit history and give it back, to whoever's asking for it takes a while. Symbium has collected the building permit history for a lot of different cities and many parcels in California. And we have put all of that data on Symbium.com. You'll see here, there's a summary of the permit history. And if you click into that button there that I just clicked into, the building permit history, you can see that you can open up the permits and actually get more details about what that permit actually was. In this case, it was an alteration. You get the job valuation and even the contractor's name who actually did the work. So, if you've got some work that was done on a property, you can follow up with the same contractor to continue additional work. If you've got a neighbor who did some work on their home, you can look at their permit and see the contractor information. This is also another one of the things that's somewhat challenging in these days to find a good contractor. This information is available instantly, and you can access it here in the building permit history button. I'll point to it when we get back to the map here. So the button that I was referring to is here in the building permit history. And to get the details, you just click here. So moving on to the kind of big hot topic, the ADUs, whether an ADU is possible on this property. It's one of the most common questions that I used to get. I used to work as a city planner at the front counter. We always used to get this question, can I build an ADU on this property? If you click on this Symbium build button here, you get an answer instantly. You'll see that on this property, an ADU is possible here. There are different things that you can do to figure out what type of ADU is most appropriate and where it can fit. You can browse designs, sketch your own ADU, and generate an ADU report. The ADU report has all of the regulatory information that you need to know. One thing that I'll note is that all the regulatory information that you're going to see here is all tailored to this specific parcel. So the address that I chose was in the city of San Jose. We have encoded the city of San Jose's local ADU ordinance into this tool so that when you, let's click on browse design so I can show you what I'm talking about. When you put an ADU on the property, you'll see that as I hover over these designs, the ADU gets put onto the map on the right-hand side there. And I'm actually going to choose this one because this ADU was actually pre-approved in the city of San Jose. You'll see on the map here that as I scroll in, you can see some hatch marks and some solid area. The hatch marks are all of the setbacks, the building setbacks that need to be taken into consideration as you're dealing with, trying to understand where to put your ADU. Somebody had mentioned earlier today that, ADUs are getting built really close to property, to other buildings. This is actually telling you exactly where that ADU can be positioned and where it cannot. So you'll see as I move the ADU, the building turned yellow, and on the upper right-hand corner, there's a message that tells you what the issue is. So in this case, the ADU cannot be this close to a building, and we know we have to move it further away. You can also rotate the ADU. You'll see that as I rotate it and move outside the parcel boundary or put it over this existing building, I again get an error message letting me know what the issue is. So in this case, the ADU has to be set further back from the property line and from other buildings. So Symbium build tells you where exactly you can locate the ADU based on the specifics of this particular property. With these ADU vendors, they're third-party ADU vendors that have uploaded their designs onto Symbium.com to give users options for actually getting one of these built. Symbium does not get any kickback or anything like that from these vendors. We included it as an option to make the process simplified for users. You'll see that in this information, we have info on the estimated cost of building the ADU, the specifications, which are things like the size, the height, and the materials and finishes. And finally, you can actually contact the vendor directly from Symbium so that you can start the conversation to get this process started. I'm actually going to go over to the ADU report now to show you a bit about the regulations here. So these are the 4 different types of ADUs that are allowed on any property in California. You'll see that there's a message here that says in San Jose, our analysis is based both on California and San Jose's laws. That's the work that Symbium has done to encode that information into these platforms. There's disclaimers throughout this tool that indicates that the city really has the last word. This is really meant to get you started, to start doing that feasibility analysis that you need to do before even going to the city planning department and talking to a planner. You can actually understand what's possible on your property before you even go to the city. So I'm just going to choose one of these detached ADU, which is what we were playing around with just now, and show you a bit about what these reports look like. So here you have all of the regulations. They're called design standards. This includes the number of ADUs that are possible on this particular property, the maximum height and the size limitations, what the setbacks are, whether there are any maximum rear yard coverage regulations, and whether parking is required. You'll see that there are these learn more buttons that you can click into, and it'll give you a bit more explanation about that particular regulation. Moving down, this is some more information about the estimated cost of actually building the ADU. So this estimated cost does not consider any site work that you have to do. It's just for the construction of the building. Now, you folks probably know that there are a lot of factors that kind of play into what an estimated cost for construction is. These are things like the construction type. So if somebody chooses to do a prefab ADU, the cost goes down a bit. If you're in an area like San Francisco, where the cost per square foot is a bit higher than the average that we have here, you can actually adjust the cost per square foot to reflect what's more accurate in your area so that you can get a bit more tailored estimated costs. There are also other factors that impact the cost and the return on investment that we have information here. So these are things like the fees that the city will charge, whether there are any utility upgrades that are required. You'll see that some of these things like fire sprinklers will affect the cost of the ADU. And finally, at the very bottom of the report, there is an outline of every step of the process that's required in order to actually get an ADU materialized. So these are things like the permitting process and the process for construction. Now, realtors have been using these ADU reports in their disclosures. You can actually go up to the very top and click the download report button, and the entire ADU regulations for that particular property that we entered the address for will be available to download or print. You can download it as a PDF or print it and include it in your disclosure package to your clients. I am actually now going to navigate back over to the Symbium.com page here to show you one last thing. This is one of our newest features. You folks are actually one of the first group to get a demonstration of this new permit center feature that we recently launched. Now, I will note that this permit center feature is actually only available in the city of San Jose. So for you folks that do work in San Jose, this would be great for you to talk to your clients about. Really what it is a tool that will help you know what permits are required for certain home improvement upgrades. This also includes what rebates are available for certain energy upgrades. So I'm actually just going to scope out an air conditioner. Let's say I want to replace my whole house air conditioner. When I click the replace button, so you'll see the actions here to scope out more details about the appliance that I'm interested in. You'll see that when I click replace, I automatically get information about the permits that are required and some information about the next steps to actually apply for those permits. Now, if I further scope the proposed brand and model, I'm just going to choose a Pioneer air conditioner, and I'm just going to choose a model there. You'll see that Symbium also calculates the available rebates for this type of air conditioner replacement. The Bay Area, BayREN, actually provides an $800 rebate for replacing an air conditioner to make it more energy efficient. Moving on to the rest of the scoping out of these home appliances here, you'll see that the system asks me, who am I who's applying for the permit? I can choose whether I'm a property owner or a licensed contractor can easily use this tool on behalf of an owner. You'll see as I clicked on licensed contractor, additional information that's needed from the contractor in order to apply for the permits shows up here, so that anybody who's using this will know instantly what is required in order to get those permits and get those rebates. You'll see here under the next steps, there is a summary of information that you need to know before you apply, the permits that are required, the applicant information that's needed, and you can do a couple of things. You can either apply online directly or download the application package, which has been pre-filled by Symbium based on some of the data that's been included here, and you can actually apply for the permits in person. Similarly, for the rebates, you can apply online by clicking this button here and claim your $800 rebate right away. So with that, I'm actually going to go back to Symbium.com to show you one last thing before I open it up for questions. So we know that sometimes the site conditions can impact whether something is going to be a little easier to build or a little more difficult in terms of the topography on the site. You can actually tilt the map to get a sense of not just the built environment, but what the topography is like, on a particular site. You'll see that the hills over in San Jose are shown over, in the background there. You can get a sense of what the topography is like for any given property by rotating to the 3D view on the map here. So with that, I will actually open it up for any questions or feedback that you all may have.
I have a question. What if you type in an address that it doesn't find? Is there something wrong? with the address that you need to correct or?
Yeah, sometimes if there is no address in the database that we use to build out Symbium.com, an APN, a parcel number will sometimes work.
Okay, thank you.
And Ernie, if there is actually a specific property that you're looking for that you can't locate, please feel free to email me at hello@symbium.com, and we are more than happy to troubleshoot it for you, because every property in California should be available here on Symbium.com.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question. How often does this update with the guidelines of like the city and like the fees and stuff like that?
Yeah, so for those cities that we partner with, like the city of San Jose, where we encode their local regulations, we actually get notified by the city whenever there are ordinance updates or any like changes to their ordinance before the ordinance actually takes effect. So usually what happens with the ordinance updates is that there is a date for when the ordinance is published before it takes effect. And during that window is the time when Symbium will update our products to make sure that, you know, when the regulation takes effect, that our system is up to date to make sure that the information that folks are looking up is accurate and up to date. So it really depends on the city, Eddie. So, you know, based on their own cycles for updates on their end.
And this system works on every city and every county, or is there particular ones that won't work?
Yeah, that's a good question. So the Symbium Build, the ADU feasibility tool, has the California regulations for every single property in California, right? So the state passed the ADUs regulations to streamline ADUs on a state level. From there, local ordinance or local jurisdictions had the option to draft their own local ordinances. Those local ordinances are only in Symbium when we have partnerships with the jurisdictions. So not every single city has a partnership with Symbium, but every parcel in California has the state regulations, which are basically like the minimum for being able to do an ADU on a property. Does that answer your question, Eddie?
Yes. So as far as, let's say the state, let's say we're in a city, you guys are not partnered with them. So at that point, we have to go with that city to see if they have any other restrictions. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah. But you can get a baseline understanding by just reviewing the California regulations. And like you said, you know, the next step would be to talk to the city to know if they have any more restrictions on top of the state regulations.
Got it.
All right, are there any other questions or any feedback?
Yeah, I have.
Linda, I know Kate answered the question in the chat box, but can you repeat the question and answer that was in the chat box?
Oh yeah, let me take a look at it. Give me one sec, I'm opening it up here. Does the website offer information on garage conversions into ADUs? Yes, so in the report, so I'm gonna go back to build just to show you here. So the ADU report has an option for conversion ADUs. So you'll see here where I'm highlighting, it says the conversion ADUs are converting either a part of your home or all or part of your garage into an ADU. So if you click into that, you'll get the regulations as they pertain to the conversion ADUs. So this is all similar to the previous report that we saw, but specifically for conversion ADUs. And I think that was the only question in the chat.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
You said this was free to us just by going on to symbium.com.
That's correct.
And is this something we can share with our clients?
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you.
Another question. Now, so how do you guys get compensated for this, or that's
Yeah, so we actually have enterprise products that we sell directly to the cities. Symbium.com is kind of the base, all of the base data and information that we need in order to sell those enterprise products. So that this is what, how we are able to make it available for free to the public. We are also a very well-funded company. We've gotten funding from several different sources that have helped us to really build out and encode these regulations. But in short, Eddie, we basically have products that we sell to cities.
Stop being so analytical. Don't worry about it. You're not paying for it.
It's always good to follow the money.
I was just trying to not any hidden fees later, you know?
I get it. I get it.
No, absolutely no hidden fees later for you folks and your clients. Like I said, you guys go on Symbium.com. Everything that I showed you today is absolutely free to use, and you're welcome to share it with anyone in your network.
Hi, this is Neil Schwartz. Can you've been talking a lot about San Jose, and I can't relate to it because we're down here in Southern California. Is there a city in Southern California that this works with that we could just play with for a minute?
Absolutely. You folks are over in SoCal.
So Irvine, Diamond Bar, Costa Mesa. I don't know. I don't know what city.
Yeah, so I'll show you a feature that we have here on Symbium. If you go back to the landing page, you'll see that there's a button here that says Advanced Search. You can click that button and actually search by county or city or zip code. Do you have a particular location that you'd like me to enter?
How about 91765?
All right, let's take a look at 91765. So you'll see the map gets highlighted where that zip code is relevant. Let's see here. So I'm actually going to just choose a property. This is unincorporated Los Angeles County that you gave me this zip code for, right?
Yeah, it's over. It's go east.
Let's see.
Go east. Go east. Hold on. See where it says Chino Hills, and there's a highlighted area just before Chino Hills? That should be the 91765.
All right, I'm having trouble finding the Chino Hills, but I'm just going to pick a random address because it should work. So you'll see that like these areas that got highlighted are all part of the unincorporated Los Angeles County based on, you know what? Because this filter is on here. Let me, give me 1 sec. All right, so I will just I'm zooming in randomly to a location here. And I am just going to pick a random property. So you'll see it will take me directly to the parcel page for this property. This particular property looks like it has a couple of buildings already on it. And this may not be a good one to choose because there's something here, but we'll look at it anyway, just to show you that build you can pick any property in California. You'll see that in this case, because the city of we don't have LA's unincorporated Los Angeles ordinance on Symbium.com, you'll get a message that says California law allows an ADU here, but the city may have more restrictions. So this goes back to Eddie's question there, right? But it's basically the same thing. And I'll actually show you something that I didn't show you last time. You can sketch your own ADU. So we know that this parcel looks like it's got pretty limited space. I'm going to move it out of the way just to show you. So the hatched marks are the setbacks where an ADU cannot be located. But the gray area is the available space that you have for an ADU. You'll see that you can actually adjust the size of the ADU here with these little bars on the side to try and really like maximize the ADU size that you can fit in this pretty limited space. You can kind of just adjust them. Whoops, a little too much. You can adjust them to try and maximize the square footage. You'll see that on this particular parcel, an ADU of about 320 square feet is what fits in the area that you are allowed to put in an ADU based on the California law.
So Linda, on that example, how do you change it where you can see if a garage conversion is allowed? I don't see an option for that.
That's
on this
actually over
part.
here in the ADU report. So let me navigate back over there. The ADU report has the conversion option here. So because the conversion is based on existing structures, right? You either convert a part of your home or convert the garage. You can't really like play around with the ADU the way you can with the detached ones, but you can get the regulatory information for it, right? So this tells you for a conversion either within your house or in the garage, these are the regulations, the state regulations that apply for that type of conversion ADU.
But you don't see any design vendors for garage conversions.
That's correct. Most of these vendors, actually, Kate, maybe you can help me here. Do you know if any of these vendors actually do conversion ADUs?
I'm not sure. In terms of what the design and the sketch functionality that really focuses on detached ADUs, you'll see a lot of the vendors that we include on build either do prefab or factory built ADUs, or have developed very much like some templates that even if they're doing stick built, that work on a wide variety of parcels and meet regulations in a wide variety of jurisdictions, which is why you'll find most of the ADUs are under 800 square feet. So these are who I think most of the folks who show up in Symbium build who are highlighted there are ADU developers as opposed to just general contractors who would be the ones doing a conversion.
Are there any other questions?
One more. Is there a way or a list that we can search for where the ones that you guys partnered with any cities in Southern California?
We are.
Is there a way of finding out which cities you guys are?
Yes.
Or is that something we have to kind of search, and then if it is, then we'll get the info?
So we have the jurisdiction specific ADU regulations within the city of Los Angeles, as well as the city of Fontana.
Yeah, and what you're seeing here is actually unincorporated Los Angeles. So it's the county's regulations that apply to this particular property that we looked up here. So that's why in this instance, when you saw this, the property report page, it says that California allows it, but you need to check with your city. This is only for unincorporated Los Angeles addresses. For addresses within the city of Los Angeles, we've got the local ordinance built in, as Kate mentioned. And I think the other one was Fontana, Kate, is that?
That's correct.
So just those two.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say the report in those jurisdictions where we just include the California regulations, the report makes clear where there might be wiggle room and where the local jurisdictions might allow, for instance, a greater building height or a larger ADU size and with respect to square footage. But we find that most folks who are building an ADU are generally building the streamlined ADU. So ADUs that are allowed regardless of the jurisdiction in which they are constructed. So junior ADUs, garage conversions, that covers that work. Detached ADUs that are no greater than 16 feet in height, 800 square feet, and located at least 4 feet from the side and rear lot lines.
Are you guys continuing to partner up with other cities often, or is that something, this is it, or are you guys, how often you guys partner up with other cities?
Yeah, so it's definitely a continual process. We actually have, other products that we sell to cities, like I mentioned earlier today, but the partnerships are always ongoing. And if you folks have connections with jurisdictions, I think it's one of the most valuable things that we can get from the networks like you folks. If you've got those connections with the jurisdictions, that is the best way for us to partner with them and make these tools more robust for the end users like yourselves. Yeah, and Kate actually included our email address there one more time, hello@symbium.com. So if there is any introductions that you folks would like to make, it's, like I said, one of the biggest values to us that anybody can really offer us. Neil, I see your photo highlighted there. Did you have a question?
Yeah, my question was, is there a list of cities, does the state put it out, of cities that allow ADUs? Not necessarily, I understand they might not subscribe to your service, but that, we could, see if Walnut or Diamond Bar or any of these other cities that are more local, Irvine, et cetera. Is there any place a list would be found? Maybe a title company has already created one or something?
So I'm not sure I'm understanding the question, but.
Well, you're saying, so let me see if I clarify it.
Yeah.
State of California allows ADUs, correct?
That's correct. On any parcel in California that allows residential uses, an ADU is allowed on that parcel as well. So the California regulations that we encoded for every single parcel in California applies to every city and every county, whether it's an incorporated city, unincorporated county. Those state regulations apply across the entire state.
Got
The
it.
local ordinances are the ones that are more specific, like the San Jose ordinance that I showed you earlier.
Okay. All right, excellent. And when you say residential, does it also include R2, R3, R4s?
Yep, absolutely. Multifamily residential is also part of these regulations that the state passed. For multifamily homes, you can do conversion ADUs or detached ADUs as well.
Got it. Great. Okay, excellent.
All right, wonderful. Are there any other questions? All right, I'm seeing none. So Robert, how about I hand it back to you?
All right. Well, speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, good stuff. Like I thought this was great information. Is this good? Was this valuable to everybody? Yes.
Absolutely, yes.
Very good information.
Yes.
All right. All right. All right. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool, but what do I know? All right, very good. No, Linda, I thought this was great. I thought this was a lot of really cool information. I mean, it's a valuable piece. We get questions on ADUs and permits all the time. Was there an unpermitted addition? Was this addition permitted? So being able to pull this information, I think is huge. It makes not only lit for listings, so we know what's going on, but for buyers as well to be able to see what was going on with that property. So I think it's huge. I think it's really great information. So what I would say to the agents, one of the things that I saw this as is if you have a listing and you're not sure if it's permitted, and then it gets to the appraisal, and then you have a permit issue, that's going to cause a problem with your deal. So this is an opportunity to find out some information beforehand. So very, very good stuff. All right, everybody, do me a favor. Everybody unmute yourselves. Give this team a wonderful round of applause for coming out here, spending some time with us, giving us some valuable information. Thank you, 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 thank you. Josie, did you have a question? I saw you raise your hand.
I was
Oh.
thinking that.
Oh, okay. Yes. Linda and the rest of the team, thank you so much. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. This was very valuable. It's huge.
It was an honor to be here. Thank you all so much for your attention, and please go out and use the tool. And also, we would love feedback. If there's anything that you're interested in seeing on Symbium.com, shoot us an email. We're always looking for ways to improve our products. So thank you so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Linda. Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Cindy, for connecting with them and getting this set up. You're the best.
No, that was really good. That was
I
very
thought so too.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
We just
Yeah, I
need
thought-
more, we need more cities.
yeah, yeah. I think we should send requests. Like,
There you go.
as
Who do we
find
who do
them.
we talk to, Cindy? You're the lawyer.
Just send an email.
Oh, okay. God, that was not very legal like, but I guess it'll work. I was expecting something far more intense.
Uh-huh.
All
Sounds good.
right, good stuff. Well, there's a lot of valuable stuff. So, utilize it. It's there, but I think we're always looking for ways to enhance our products and be more service to our clients. I think that's a really great way.